1987. Okay. Okay, we did it. We finished the game. We finished Grim Fandango, and that's how to talk about it in the segment Mostly Talking, which is what this is going to be.
10-8-7.
Yeah. And go. No, I'm trying to figure out the way to actually properly evaluate this game, because, so I'm going to take like a super modern game, like Tomb Raider, 2013 Tomb Raider.
Okay. Like the on the island one, plane crash one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Or The Last of Us.
A super modern game from 2 years ago.
Ooh,
that's burn.
Well, this game was like 30 years old, so.
Yeah,
30.
What?
30?
Okay.
Thereabouts. Actually, wait,
Sean.
What's this made in...
No, I think this was like 16, 17 years old.
Okay, that's still...
1675.
That's still so old. Okay, so like I think about the modern games now.
17 is pretty old.
Where... I don't know why it's so hard to focus today. Oh, man. Okay, so like with modern games, the story is told as tightly as a reasonably done movie. Where like in Tomb Raider,
reasonably done 17-year-old. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I don't know. Just go. Just keep going. Ignore me.
Ignore me. But yeah, like in those games, it's like very clear what the story is, and outside of the gameplay, I can like track through the story itself. I know who the villain is, and what my goals were, and the obstacles, the characters that help me, and why I should be sad that they're dead, and all that sort of stuff. But like games that were made way back when, 40, 50 years ago, this was made, or 15, whenever. Like I remember a lot of those games they basically had like a MacGuffin, where it was like, come on, go here, and you're like, okay, and you just went there. Like Mario, you gotta save the princess, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And then it's completely gameplay. I even remember like Link to the Past. It didn't even have a story so much as it had like just a mythos.
Yeah.
Where you just sort of got a vague sense of who you were. So this is like in between there, where in Grim Fandango it actually did try to tell a story with characters that developed, and you kind of went through the life of Manny as he tried to track down Meche and right his wrongs and all that sort of thing. And so I'm trying to evaluate in that context.
I would say, Sean, is I think it does tell that story. I think that story is actually really interesting. It's just that the story is constantly interrupted by what we would have called at the time a sort of a ludonarrative dissonance, and that is no longer in vogue to sort of talk about. But
wait, that's not in vogue anymore?
No, not really, because
ludonarrative dissonance was the only thing that we learned in school.
That was it?
Pretty much.
Wait, I remember the second half of what I was going to say. Yeah, so the first half is that like the story was clearly trying to do something that I feel like the games at the time were not doing as much of. Or certainly not as well.
What? How?
Actually trying to tell like a complete story with cinematic sequences and a main character with witty dialogue, and you got a real sense of the characters' personalities and stuff like that. Because, I'm going to have to look up actually, I'm going to do this on the other monitor, like games that were released at that time. And gameplay-wise, adventure games did have puzzles that were like this obnoxious. Like they did have... Yeah, so it was like being normal in the puzzle sense and like revolutionary in the storytelling sense, I think. I don't know, like, because I only have modern-day gaming to compare it to.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting... So the thing that I want to compare it to, first of all, is I think it's... I don't know that it's quite right to compare it to, like, Tomb Raider or The Last of Us, because those are such a different genre of game. I think there's some comparison that's valid, but I think it's probably I'm more interested in comparing it to adventure games that were released in the early 90s, contemporary with Grim Fandango, and then like more modern adventure games. And I think that
I'm sorry.
If we what
Sorry, I keep just like right as you're about to say something, you stepping in. No,
fine,
go
whatever.
ahead.
Dude, I don't need to talk.
Talk.
I'm just gonna.
I do command it.
What'd you discover, Sean? I want to hear your.
I
discovery.
found all the games made in 1998. Best gaming year ever. Half-Life, StarCraft, and StarCraft Brood War, Ocarina of Time, Metal Gear Solid, Grim Fandango, Baldur's Gate, Resident Evil 2, Thief the Dark Project, Xenogears, Fallout 2, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Unreal, Crash Bandicoot, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, 1080 Snowboarding, Star Siege Tribes, Tomb Raider F-Zero X. This is Tenchu Stealth Assassins. Jesus. King of Fighters 98.
I have one thing. I have one thing to bring up, which is think about the think about the CGI in this game.
Yeah.
And then think about the CGI in The Matrix that came out 1 year later.
I don't know how much that helps, but I'm trying to see the point. Where
There's no point. Anyways, go back to Sean. It was just a little footnote. Footnote. Not main text paragraph. Let's compare some Ludo's narratives.
I have no idea what we were talking about before. Here's a question that I have. Oh, well, okay, so more to your point, I guess, Sean. Comparing the story then going off somewhere completely different. Then the story, like the story in this versus the story in King's Quest VI, like that had characters and it had cutscenes and it was theoretically trying to tell a story. It was a much less interesting story. Like the actual writing was not as good, but I don't know that it was like trying to do less.
It just
do you think it was
it wasn't trying to do less, it was just delivering less.
Yeah, I mean, I think it wasn't executed as well.
Yeah.
I think that, like, I don't know that this was categorically different in a, like, adventure game storytelling perspective, but I think it was, like, a high bar in terms of the story. The story is just super really interesting and
so what makes
written.
a story good? And this is a question I keep asking, and part of the reason that I'm a terrible writer. What the hell makes a story good? I don't know. Do you know? Can you tell me?
Well,
Can I do it?
It's got characters that I care about, right?
Okay, sure.
I mean, I don't know necessarily how to do all of this stuff. Like, there are techniques that I would employ, but I'm not necessarily good at this. But yeah, it's got characters that I care about. It's got an arc that is coherent. It's got intrigue, right? This is actually this is a great plot that's got like different layers of villains and plots that you are unraveling and a
really weird, unique world where I'm just not quite sure what to expect.
Totally. But it holds together. Like, it's not just random. It's like nothing that I've seen before, but it makes sense, which is wonderful. I love that. I mean, I think that those are all kinds of things that King's Quest VI really didn't have. Like, I didn't really care about any of those characters. Yeah. I don't feel like any of them made an impact on me. I felt like the world wasn't really coherent. It didn't make a lot of sense. Like, it was strange and stuff happened, but it was, and the sort of like the plot, the what we were doing, the mystery that we unraveled,
the plot
was pretty.
I got unraveled in this.
Like it, yeah, you did. We just unraveled you. The plot to King's Quest VI was like pretty straightforward. There was a little bit of duplicity, but it gets uncovered in the first third of the game, and then they just kind of wink at it for the rest of the game, right? Like, it's not like there was a big payoff at the end. There was just a wedding. And like,
and you must hate Shakespeare.
Just
a wedding.
Oh man.
I think there's some really good Shakespeare, but I don't think that just the wedding is enough to pull it off. Right?
Oh,
damn well.
Gauntlet Throne. Gauntlet Throne, Shakespeare.
What do you say now, Will, huh?
What do you say now, Willie?
Yeah, get thee to a nunnery, Will.
Will.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Shakespeare, but I don't know.
Come on.
This was a much more interesting plot than the plot to King's Quest VI. That's my point.
You know, okay, so I would
cool.
claim that, like, in every single adventure game we've played, we've hit derpy puzzles.
Yeah,
Or we've hit puzzles where, like, wow, how would I have ever known that? Oh! You hear me, like, going up in octaves. But for some reason, these puzzles, like I found them, like, more grating. And I don't know if it's because...
Really?
I was just, like, more tired when we did these broadcasts or something. Yeah. Because, I mean, I just don't know what it was, if there was, like, a different quality to the puzzles. Like, I think I mentioned last week, a coworker suggested that it was perhaps because the intrigue in the story and a lot of the voice acting and dialogue was so good. And in King's Quest, I mean, it was, like, really silly. You know, I'm even thinking of the maid who won't talk to us because she's too far away. The first time we talk to her, she agrees to marry someone. Remember this? And marries, like, the beast.
Right. Yes,
just like instantly.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, so contrived. We're like, whatever. Like, that those are the world elements in that game that immediately make me go, nah, that's not. I'm never going to buy into this world. I'm never going to be really moved by that ever. And now that this puzzle's weird, okay, I totally get that. I don't know if the contrast is what's the issue, or whether the puzzles themselves were a different kind of frustration. I don't know. But I think that, like, game-wise, this was the most frustrating game for me that we've played, I think.
Really?
Okay, I got a question. I'm going to ask you to think critically.
I would love that.
Metacognition.
I don't trust my own judgment here.
Could it possibly be because this is the most recent game that we played?
That could very well be true. Like, I don't even remember what I said about the other games. I can't remember at all.
I mean, I feel like there's definitely a thing, and this is part of why these games are so fondly remembered. I mean, in a lot of ways they're great, but they're also in a lot of ways really aggravating. And the aggravating parts of them we tend to forget. Like because it's not for the most part, it's not like there's a thing in the game that drives me insane. The problem is I spend a stretch of time not being able to figure out a puzzle.
Yes.
And that drives me crazy. But the way that my memory works, at least, like, I very quickly lose that stretch of time that I didn't accomplish anything to the garbage collection system in my brain, right? And so my memory of King's Quest is stitched together the moments where things actually happened. And I do not, I forget about all of the moments where, it was terrible. I think the fact that this is just fresher in our minds makes it, it doesn't...
I'm actually going to harp on a frustration that's literally happening right now, which is the chat was amazingly frustrating throughout this.
The chat?
Yeah, like, for instance, Reclips and a number of people have been saying that, like, there were dialogue things that I was just skipping through and blasting through. Like, I was just reading ahead and not letting it finish and going, oh, okay, cool. Like, didn't happen that often, and there would often be times where once the puzzle was solved, I would go, oh, okay, they must have been referring to that one piece of dialogue that was just as forgettable and ignorable as all the rest. And it's frustrating to have someone criticizing you, oh, you're just skipping, you don't know how to play, and I'm like, what? There was, like, okay, I'm going to take the, what was a good one? Okay, so, like, the pantyhose one.
Yeah, that's a great example.
That's a really clean, simple example where there's this character who's done almost nothing but be ridiculous the entire game.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden brings up this, like, pantyhose, oh, that's really expensive. And then, like, after we've burned the leg, it's sort of like, oh, well, okay. But think of this in terms of like a player connecting the dots and thinking, what's the goal? Let me pursue that goal. You know, it's at no point did I think, oh, okay, I need to get pantyhose. Once I had pantyhose, I was sort of incidentally like, oh, okay. Now the thing is that like that in itself, it's one of those like eye roll moments. Oh, of course, standard adventure games. But then to have a whole bunch of people in chat be like, God, Sean doesn't listen. I'm like, come on, man, that is such a reasonable train of thought for me to have gone through. It's so frustrating.
True.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't listen because I don't. That's not the point for me here. That's not my job.
No, totally.
Yeah.
My job is to just be... So, I had a friend one time, I still do, in fact, who is named, Jess. That's not important. But she said to me once, she was like, Bill, your sense of humor makes me feel tired. And I said, good, because that's how I feel. And that's how I want you to feel. So, I don't know what that means.
Humor is your method of projecting your own ennui onto the rest of the world? Is that...
Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
adventure games are just the crucible that... Or they're like the kiln that like really gets it going.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Sean, I mean, like, I don't mean to totally dismiss what you're saying, because certainly this game is structured differently than other games that we've played, and one of the things that I think I found about this game is that a lot of the puzzles make a lot of sense in retrospect.
Yeah.
In a way that, like, looking back on them, it's sort of like, oh yeah, that told a very coherent story.
Yeah.
But when you're playing the game, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Like there was so again, there's like bringing up the safe example, like where apparently this woman who we seem to have had a sexual past with, allegedly, seemingly, a lot of that got brought up in this idea of investigating and, you know, checking so that maybe we can go to the back room, which, as it turns out, none of that really mattered. And she was really into, like, protecting, and she, like, mentioned a safe once. And, like, and then, like, after the fact, you go, oh, and, like, chat's pointing out that I was like, oh my god, I don't remember hearing the safe at all. I totally didn't forget, because there's 1,000 lines in this game that are totally forgettable. It's the repetition that I think is, like, so necessary. It's like the repeated hinting. Like, you can't expect someone to have, like, an encyclopedic memory of everything that was stated, and then, moreover, try to connect the dots. But again, like you say, like, once you know the puzzle...
Yeah, because it's not about the memory. I mean, it's not like... We were not helped by the fact that we had a log of all of the dialogue in the game, because that's not the point. It's not like we missed the words. There are a lot of words in the game, and only some of them actually directly contribute to solving the next puzzle.
And a huge amount of the dialogue directly contributes to just interesting character development.
Exactly. It's great dialogue. I love it.
Right, yeah.
But it's useless.
Well, it's only in retrospect that it actually contributes to the puzzle part of the story.
So
I need to filter that out.
I just want chat to listen. You know, given all of this, I want chat to just think about what they've done.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so look.
Let them sit in a corner.
Looks like the goal is not to say chat.
No.
Chat's a jerk, right? It's that it's that I don't trust my own evaluation of the game, because I know some of my frustration came from seeing other people be frustrated at me. And I was like, I'm trying! Right? Like, I'm trying so hard! I'm trying to remember! Fuck! You know, like, pantyhose kill me! All I have to do is first find a pair of pantyhose before I can get the gun, right? Like, jeez.
Pantyhose!
And, like, oh my god. And then, like, I spent so long on that elaborate poem system. Like, you have to, like, so much.
That was so fantastic. And like, I just want to say that I don't think I ever told you not to do it anymore. because I loved every minute of that.
Oh my god, yeah, Bill, you were like, maybe you should do this.
Maybe you should do the poems again.
Yeah, dude, yeah, because, like, God, so
and then
much
you
of this...
did it, and it was like, I can't believe it. Wow, it worked.
So much in the chat going, oh, yeah, see, like I think this is why I trust data more than my own personal intuition.
More than
I am
Spocky?
I am completely aware of my bias in this situation, that I wasted so much time on air, on a show, in a puzzle that wasn't a puzzle, just a thing you could do.
Minigame.
To
To be fair, it should have been a puzzle.
Well, and can I just also point out, like, while we're on that topic, we opened up a can of cat food, like, out behind the...
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Why did we do that? What
So that it
what
would
was
go
that all
bad.
about?
Didn't
Just
do
to
anything.
ruin someone's day.
That was
I think
so
it was
weird.
to show us how to use the can opener.
I guess, because we don't know how to use a can opener. Anyway, I found that I kept expecting that to come back, and then when we returned, we did this whole return journey thing. I thought for sure somehow that was going to come back, but no, not any of it. It was really weird. All right, so I have a question. Insofar as an adventure game, so I have been thinking a lot about metadating and the way that show is structured and some of the stuff that I liked about that. I liked that in that show we could sort of talk about what is the perspective that this game brings to the subject of romance.
Oh, yes. And gender.
And gender, and so those are all topics that are, still potentially interesting, and because they appear in the stories. But the games that we're playing now they're adventure games, right? They're all about this sort of concept of adventure and the adventure story. And so I'm curious, in your guys' opinion, what?
I'm just thinking.
Oh my god, the Joker strikes again.
No, it's like. Yeah, you're talking about the concept of adventure, like King's Quest 1.
Yeah.
Like original King's Quest 1, even though it had a whole bunch of flubs to it, in terms of the sense of adventure, or actually Quest for Glory, a game that we played. There's the Quest for Glory, just feel of adventure, where there's an ogre by a cave, and there's a frosty waterfall being guarded by some whatever, where you're just, ooh, and there's this sense of wonder. And it's the sense of adventure, and I'm just wandering around the docks trying to get equipment from bees. It's
Okay. So here's the thing. I would say that the sense of adventure has a ton to do with separating out the known comfort zone world from the adventure part of the world. And that is bridged by crossing through thresholds. And in this one, there were thresholds, but they weren't as clear. And the thing is that, Manny's everyday life was still sort of adventurous to us. So it wasn't the first threshold was maybe when he went down to the Resistance or something, right? Or even when he got into the car.
When he left El Mero, yeah.
Or something, or even modifying the car. There was just he took a series of small steps into becoming an outlaw, basically. So it was sort of a gradiated, liminal sort of vector window. I don't know what the fuck. What was the word I was saying? Threshold. Oh yeah. Liminal vector windows. If you pass through one, you So.
Liminal vector windows, I love.
Liminal vector windows. And so then, did he ever return to a place of comfort or not? I guess his other place of comfort was totally different.
I mean, sort of literally, he does. So one of the things that I find fascinating about this game is that I think it's got an extremely structured hero's journey perspective on what adventure is. And it's also it's concentric circles, and so in a very literal way, he he leaves his sense of comfort, his place of comfort, his office, and goes off into the world, and then comes back to his office, and right towards the final act. That's where he ends up again. Which is, obviously not a coincidence. It's this very structured, like, circular way of mapping out a story.
I guess that's why he puts on his old costume again, right?
Yeah.
And that's why that feels like that moment. You know how characters sometimes do that? Like, they'll have a costume, and then they'll go through some changes, then they'll have some other clothes on. And then at the end, in a moment of triumph, they have their old iconic costume again. You do that with hats. Indiana Jones. I don't know that he ever did that, but
Well, yeah, I mean, he pretty much just always wears the hat, doesn't he?
But imagine if he lost his hat.
Wouldn't that be emasculating?
And the last moment, when he picks up his hat and he gets his whip, someone throws him his whip, and then he says, "I'm back, baby," and then he whips the Nazis.
Yeah.
This is then he says part-time.
I'll greenlight that.
Greenlight
good.
that. It's called Indiana Jones and the Fate of Hatlantis. Wow, I didn't see that one coming. Yeah, I didn't even know what I was gonna say.
I thought this is what the entire point was building to.
That's
Shit.
amazing.
There's a secret about puns. Sometimes if you come up with a pun, it can validate the entire paragraph before it.
That is a law of puns, where like no one even is upset they wasted time. They're just like, "Oh yeah, you got me. I got to the end, and you."
You.
Do
Do you think that when Indiana Jones becomes intimate with someone, that he in the bedroom takes off everything but the hat and the whip, and then like no one has ever has had the guts to really say anything?
Yeah, I mean, if I were in that situation, I'd be really intimidated. Like, because if someone left a hat on, I would assume there's a really good reason, and like there's certain questions that you can't ask during sex because they kill the mood. Like, hey, can I ask you something? that's kind of a mood killer. Like,
is there a reason that you're keeping your hat on?
Hey, is your head cold? Maybe try to guess for them, to give them a little leeway.
Yeah.
If you're sitting next to him,
you want me to turn up the head heat?
Yeah, like if you're next to him on a bus, you could ask that a little more casually. But if everybody's naked, but there's a hat,
something's going on there.
It is the elephant in the room.
Exactly.
Demon Gun Liz says, "Can this stream get any more sexier?" Yes, the answer is yes. But
Yeah,
it won't.
of course. Yeah,
It won't.
of course it can get sexier. Of course.
It always can.
Not under the terms and conditions, I don't think.
That's
The talk.
Actually, that's a great point. There is a strict limit to how sexy it can be, and the limit includes any music other than Toe Jam and Earl and Mega Man 2.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I feel like we're on a crazy tangent right now.
No, that can't possibly be.
Yeah, like I know we're gonna play more adventure games because the show isn't canceled, and now I have this fear, I'm
Can
like,
this show be canceled?
yeah, I mean, we could get in like a really bad fight.
I mean,
like a public bad fight.
A network that you're like. It's not like there's Nielsen ratings that you're sweating over.
No.
Like,
Someone can't cancel us, but we can cancel.
We could cancel
ourselves.
ourselves.
We can
self-cancel. We
Open
can
up your
self-cancel.
mind, Bill.
Yeah, auto cancel.
Rage cancel.
Yeah. I like the idea of rage canceling the show. Where, let's be honest. I got a little huffy at chat. Sorry, I got so huffy at chat, but I want to go back down that route and be like, oh, what? I didn't fucking remember? Am I supposed to remember one line of dialogue? Remember this line of dialogue? The show is done! And I just turn the stream off and I tweet like, will not be ever doing hashtag mostly walking again. I like
That's right.
Instagram the finger, link it. I don't know how you get passive aggressive via social media to a whole audience.
No, I think you got it. I think those are good ideas.
Oh man. Okay, so I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Bill,
Yep.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate
Okay.
Grim Fandango?
Oh Jesus Christ! Do you mean like me as a person rating it, like not for at the time or for whatever?
You don't ever have to say a number. I just want you to talk.
1 to
Just-
10? I'd give it a 5.
Now
honestly-
I gotta ask: is this what kind of 5 is this? Is this like?
Not
this
like a Game Informer 5, or not like a Metacritic 5, like
Yeah.
just a 5, just a like
was
like
it
it's an
was fine.
artifact that exists. Like years ago, I might have given it like a 7. Now I'm just giving it a 5.
Okay, so that's
That's the impact it has on my life right now today.
I don't want to. Is that like a C?
Yeah, is it like a C or is it like an F? Like, is this American grading system or is this just
It's
like
a
nothing about
C.
it?
It's a real C. It's like a
Okay.
real, like if C's were actually what they, if it was it's a 1950s style curve.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
It's a C.
I see it.
It's average.
Yeah. So I don't want to go down the road of like let's rank the games, but
Oh well,
but-
come on. Well,
But compared, no, I mean I'm just like in the field of games that we've played, where does this fall? Is this
in the field of games we played, it's pretty high up.
okay? All right.
Dude, I didn't get into this gig because I love adventure games. It's not the point.
Okay, no, that's good. I think we needed both of those metrics
Yeah.
in order to understand like what you were saying.
Yeah, sure. I'll put it this way. Let me put it this way. I think that mostly walking episodes are better than the actual games that were played.
Well, that's undeniable.
Undeniable.
I mean
Value add.
that's why whenever I buy a DVD, I don't watch the movie. I only watch the director's commentary.
Yes. Yeah.
Or we.
Black
I
on
actually
my
watch
screen.
another director's commentary with the movie. That's what I
That's
do,
right.
and the other director is actually called Riff Tracks.
Oh!
Oh!
You did there!
Kaboom! Oh.
Good.
Ugh.
Yeah, playing games with friends is always more fun than playing games.
It's true.
Oh.
Longhinner F says, depends on the game. So he's a reluctant sub. Ugh. Just don't Google that.
Okay. All right. So
shit.
I'm.
Sorry, Bill.
It's all right.
I do think it's funny that we've got like these people on the who watch like there's people who watch like 48 hours live of our stuff, and they're still just like whatever. What are you doing? What are you doing? There's so many other things you could be doing. It's like I don't know. We're the Batman to your Joker. You claim you don't love us, but
Yeah, dude.
honestly.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's like the Will and Hannibal murder twins, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Just want to be murder boyfriends.
Totally.
Murder friend? I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, no, the Hannibal on the TV show. Hannibal
Yeah,
and Will Graham are in love.
Right.
I have to actually watch that TV show.
Are you just
But
saying
I do.
Hannibal
I love Will
Burns?
Graham
He's good.
from the books. From the books, yo. Old school.
Booksters?
Straight analog technology, bruh.
I know.
Straight papyrus, hun.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, what's the deal with this term throwing shade? When did that start?
It started like 6 weeks ago, I think.
It's getting old.
That's when the epidemic began. I think there was like a
Damn it!
that dare epidemic. It was sorry, I haven't gotten an education. I don't know how to say that word. It's a mix between Yeah, it's between an epidemic and a pajama, I think, is what it is.
I love that we all accidentally got terminal degrees that people will never understand our terminal degree.
Yeah. By the way, terminal degree is not like a...
It's not a
that'll
Keanu
eventually
Reeves
kill you. Like,
It's not fatal.
I got a degree in interactive media, and I'll be dead in 3 months. So. But Sean, really, give me your evaluation of Fandango.
I think I evaluate it in a very similar way to Bill. I think I evaluate it sort of high in the stable of games that we've played, but numerically I would call that like a 7.5. I think my scale is up just a little bit higher.
I don't want to get into rating these games, but I'd give this a solid 7.45.
I don't want to get into ranking them. I don't want to get into ranking them is what
ranking. I see.
I just find this all so funny. Man.
I don't want to say, for example, that this was a better game than all of the games that we've played, with the exception maybe of Quest for Glory.
You don't want to say it's a better game. Well, but Quest for Glory is a good game, though, right? It's just terrible for the show.
Yeah, I think it didn't work, and I think I led you guys down a wrong path.
You could definitely do it on play-by-play.
No, I mean like that.
Those guys.
I might.
They'll
do
eat
that.
anything. They'll eat up anything.
They'll eat anything. Oh, Bill, throwing shade at the play-by-play audience.
Don't even. I'm throwing shade at that term. Throwing shade. The only time I'm throwing shade is when I get really angry at a Magic tournament, and I happen to be playing Frozen Shade from Revised Edition.
And then you throw it.
And you really throw it.
And then
like
someone
like a ninja star.
Yeah, but people would abbreviate it because they can't say, "Look out, he's throwing a frozen shade." That he's throwing shade.
He's throwing shade.
Yeah. Well, because it happens so often that you just like.
It's like it's been hyphenated.
Exactly.
Haiku. It's been ostracized. It's been antagonized.
It's been anthropomorphized.
It's been anthropomorphized.
Right.
It's a furry now.
It's a furry.
It's a furry
Brown
now.
shade furry.
It must have been cards, but I made it somehow. I must have been man, but I'm furry now.
Sean,
I am a rat, and I have sex somehow. I don't know.
Touch the hat. Oh, Sean, you're gonna ask something, and I was gonna answer it, but I need your question first.
No, I think very highly of this game. I think highly of this game because I think it's by far the best story.
Okay.
Like the writing in this game is headers above everything else. There was some good writing in the dig, but it was not consistent. The puzzle design in this game,
different qualities of writing snuck in there.
Yes, exactly. The puzzle design in this game, actually, like, if we're gonna break it down like that,
sure.
The puzzle design in this game is not great. Like it's designed, I think, to tell a really good story in retrospect. That like when you look back on the plot of Grim Fandango, you're like, oh yeah, that was so good. But the play design, like the experience of playing the game, I think is really, really rough. And it's got lots of crazy difficulty spikes that just I don't know. I'm partial to Quest for Glory, but I think even like there, for the most part, the dig had better puzzle design, and maybe even Nancy Drew. Like Nancy Drew got weird sometimes, and we struggled with it because we didn't know how to interact with it. But I feel like it had a very different perspective on what an adventure is. Like as a game about the idea of adventure. Adventure is like is a much more social activity. It's not.
Well, that's because she's a woman, and girls.
Yeah, those girls. They're so different from us.
They're so gendered.
Girls
are so much more gendered than us men.
We're very
us normal men.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, what? How are we talking about this right now?
Sorry,
I
Sean.
think like
I blipped out for a second there, and I think there was a joke that was being made off something, but I didn't quite hear the something, and I'm just like, what?
That's like how I feel with the entire internet.
The puzzle design in Nancy Drew in general made a lot more sense. I think like if you were following it,
Since most of the puzzles were called Bess.
Well, once we figured that out, we knew we were just on speed dial.
yeah, right, exactly. We just put her on speed dial, and that was easy. No, I mean a lot of the puzzles were talk to everybody about the information that you have, and then a lot of the puzzles were like literally here is a puzzle that is gating, like it's at 10 grams, and it's gating this locked door, so solve it. And there's something like there's something much less frustrating from a player perspective about like being given a puzzle that you can solve and being told to solve it, even if it's ridiculous on stream to like try to solve.
At that point, I would call it a mini game. You know?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
And so maybe that's not a good example of good puzzle design. Maybe it's like maybe good puzzle design should be more integrated into the narrative.
You know, I had a friend argue that the most important thing to nail in a story or in a creative work is the tone. To just make sure that there's a consistent tone in there through the whole thing.
Okay.
What's a good example of it? Okay, so like Hearthstone. Hearthstone kind of has like a playful silliness to it. That like all the sound effects and the fact that you can like fiddle with the entire board and the sort of taunts that you can say to each other, like it just has a consistent tone to it. And I feel like when you look at King's Quest VI, which I enjoyed playing, I wouldn't evaluate it as like an amazing game, but like I really enjoyed playing it a lot. And I feel like it's because the tone between the story and the puzzles was consistent. It was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous from start to finish. And I wonder if that's where some of my like discord comes from, where it was like this sort of serious story and this drama, and then this sort of like, wait, what? Like I didn't know. It was hard for me to approach it like, am I getting into the story that I wanted to get into, and then I'm confused by the puzzles, and then the solutions are ridiculous. And I feel like if it was a really poorly told, ridiculous story, that like, you know, when it turns out that there's a key in his cigarette case, we'd be like, oh, of course it's in the cigarette case, you know, we enjoy it. But of course we instead went, wait, what? It's in... Why would it be in there? And it's less like an inconsistency of logic and more an inconsistency of tone. Where if you're aware of that...
Great point, Sean.
It's not my point. It's Tristan's point. Like, I just stole it here. Like, that he's the one who argued it. Yeah.
Job, brah.
Yeah, he nailed that. Yeah, but like...
nailed it.
It's an interesting way to think of, like, just media. To, like, is the tone consistent? Like, screw what the literal components are. And then this is why, like, when I went, like, the what was it? The Hobbit, the first Hobbit movie. Hated that movie. Like more than
hated it.
Yeah,
that was bad tone.
Yeah, because you know we are on a high adventure, and then when there's a boulder that knocks down a bowling pins that are goblins, right? I can't take it seriously, and because like the tone's off. But like if I'm watching a Leslie Nielsen movie, then they can do anything that they want, and they do, and the tone is consistent there. So I mean,
yeah, that's some bullshit. And I think that sometimes people get in trouble because like they're making a kids movie, like it's a movie for kids. That means that our tone can be all over the place as long as it's got like a monster that farts. You know, it's like it belches into the camera. Ooh, like I don't know, CGI mugging. For instance, Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3. Poop jokes and then Jedis. It's like you can't have reverence and poop jokes.
Yeah.
And more about Star Wars episodes. Wouldn't it be amazing if I just always took it back to Star Wars episodes 1, 2, 3? Just every time.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can sort of bridge. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You can um, I think that's true. I think that like there's a very film noir aesthetic to this game that's like you've got these revolutionaries, you've got these plots, you've got these lots of people smoking. It's very inspired by these Humphrey Bogart films, and then the actual puzzles, like the thinking that you have to do to solve the puzzles, is in a completely different space. Like it doesn't mesh well with that tone. I think that's exactly right. That's really good.
Cool thing to think about. Well, we've been going for almost an hour in the final Mostly Talking segment. Gentlemen, do you have any final thoughts, Bill? I'm going to send it to you for final thoughts.
I'm happy that we played it because now I'm gonna remember the story fondly. Like I'm waiting for my mind to auto purge all of the slow parts. And then it'll be good memories.
Just do a good defrag.
Defrag.
when you have grandkids, be like, "Yo, shall play Grim Fandango."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm actually really looking forward to reading Tim Schafer's puzzle design doc for this game, which was published several years ago, and I've got a copy of it. It's floating around the internet too, but I've never actually read. So with the game sort of fresh in my mind, I think it's going to be interesting to see how, I'm hoping to get a sense of how some of these puzzles evolved and ended up where they are, and if they started rooted in a more tonally consistent place, if that got lost, or if they were just how it came together. I'm hoping to get some insight into that. I find it really interesting that I think in a lot of ways I was really excited about how this game messed with the original interface, and we had a point and click and didn't have to use tank controls. But ultimately I think it hurt the game experience, and there were moments that were designed around those tank controls that would have gone smoother for us if we had been sort of forced to use them. As sort of aggravating as they were moment to moment, the game was designed around them. And so this was in some ways kind of it was a port, and they didn't completely redesign the game in order to make it work.
I feel like that's as close as we've come to being like, so Tim Schafer.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah.
Oh well.
I'm like super happy we played it. It's
Me too.
I'm like really happy it's done, because Jesus, I want the experience, but like,
at what cost?
I'm like one of those people that wants the 5 easy tips to lose 20 pounds in a week, right? Like, I'm that guy. I want that.
Oh
right?
my god! Number
3
3 blew my mind.
The tip number 3.
Yeah.
I can't get past 2.
I know.
I can't unlock it at the end.
I've been stuck on 1, and the 20 pounds are still here.
Gym owners hate you.
Well, but yeah, I'm like very happy we played it. And I don't know what we should do next. Whether we should go for another heralded classic, or whether we should go for something that we might just think is bad, because it's kind of fun to play bad games, but not too bad. It needs to be like as bad as Troll 2. Like, it needs to be that quality of port.
That quality is bad.
So I don't know. So we'll figure something else. But regardless, thanks to all of you who endured these 7 weeks of Grim Fandango. Something fresh and new shall begin at the end of the month. We will see you next week for a little more Mostly Walking. I'm Sean Plott.
And I'm Crow T Robot.
I'm Sean Bouchard.
And that's Bill Grainer.
Lib Renark.
See you next week. Do. It's over.
We did it.
I fucking quit, man. The show's done. It's canceled.
It's canceled.